Hey everybody, the captain here, and like, hey, are you back in your mother's basement? Yeah, I am, because the woman is upstairs making something from scratch. Oh, hey, forgot I had this. Everybody likes this hat, so I'm going to wear my hat because you guys all like it. All right, so here's a very important lesson, and this is for not just the younger folks that typically tune into the YouTube channel, but for everybody. Gold and silver, or precious metals in general, are not investments. And this is a very important economic lesson for everybody to learn because it goes beyond just gold and silver. So what is an investment, and then what is gold and silver and precious metals? Well, an investment is where you invest in an asset. And that is a loose term used for, it could be a company as an asset. It could be like, my hat as an asset. But what really makes it an investment is if that asset generates income, generates some kind of dividend or interest payment. So for example, a bond that generates interest, that's an investment. This hat is an asset, but it does not generate any income whatsoever. So it is not an asset, it's just a consumable technically. A rental property, that's an asset because it generates rental income. Stocks, a company, that generates income. It is not, what is not an investment is where I say, I buy this hat now, and then later I sell it for more because there's no income, there's no dividends, there's no interest, there's no rental income. There's nothing that asset does or works to create a profit at the end. That's called speculation. Now, gold and silver, you could almost say any commodity, is what would be considered, if it's at all an investment, it's called a speculative investment. And that is where you purely speculate the price of that asset, the silver or the gold, will go up in value. But the truth is, especially when it comes to gold and silver, you hear it in the news and all this, and why I advocate investing, at least some, you should have a little bit of gold and silver, or whatever precious metal. You should have some of it, is because it is not an investment, it is an insurance. That's what it is. Like when you spend money on your car insurance or your health insurance, you don't invest, it's going away. And you hope you don't have to use it. That's the other thing. You don't want to have to say, oh gosh, I hope I use my car insurance, because that means you got in an accident, or your health insurance means something happened to you. It's for the prevention of the chance of bad things happening. And that's what insurance is. And when you look at gold and silver, they're just, you could buy them in bars or coins or bullion. They just sit there. They don't fart out little baby silver coins or little baby gold turds. They just sit there. And frankly, with half-life, they're actually technically decaying. Of course, they decay over millions of years, but that's neither here nor there. Larger point is they don't generate any kind of investment income. They don't generate a profit. They don't pay a dividend. They don't pay interest. They just sit there and collect dust. And so you say, well, what is gold and silver if not an investment? And if it's insurance, why would I get gold or silver? Well, the reason you get gold and silver is to hedge against hyperinflation. And the other reason is that in case there's an oh shit hits the fan scenario. That's it. And that's why, a lot of people, the silver bugs or the gold bugs, they invest all their money in it. You don't want to do that. The reason why is because you don't need that much gold or silver, because if the economy really does go to pot or hyperinflation does set in, what little silver or gold you have will become immensely more valuable, multifold, in those instances. So it does kind of kick in like an insurance. Still the same amount of gold, not farting out little gold or silver turds that grow up to be big gold coins when they're older. Gold bars, doesn't happen that way. They don't get together and fivenicate, which is a Victor Borga joke, look it up, fornicate, to make other gold and silver bars. They just exist as they are, and they only really pay off in a sense in case something really bad goes on in the real world economy. So technically, gold and silver, they've been going down, and people are like, why is it going down? Well, you want it to go down. If gold and silver and your precious metals are going down, that generally, not necessarily the case today, that generally means the economy is doing better. So all your other investments, all your other aspects of your financial life are going well. So maybe unemployment is low, people are not investing in gold and silver as much as they are stocks and bonds, because they think that economies are going to grow and the stock or the companies are going to hire. In other words, when the economy is growing, it's like, well, why would I invest in these stagnant things that don't poop out little turds of themselves that grow out into big self things of themselves down the road? I want to invest in something that generates income. So that's the why you would cheer on gold and silver to go down. So like I said, it's a very important lesson. Everyone just thinks investments and it's everything. No, you have to understand what an investment is. It has to generate income. Otherwise, you are purely speculating. And this is, I don't mean to make another side note here, but this is an important one. People investing in the stock market today are investing as if it's a speculative investment. They always expect their stock prices to go up. They never ask, what are the profits of the company? What are the earnings of the company? They're just, I'm going to buy it here and I'm going to sell it here. 401k. I mean, seriously, you've got to know that delineation and the difference between speculative, quote, investing, it isn't investing, and an actual real investment where you say, I'm going to invest $10,000, I expect $1,000 per year to come out of it at 10% rate of return. That's an investment. The rest of it is speculation, and that's how bubbles form. And you can look up things when we abandon fundamental value. That's a post I wrote. I think everybody can understand. You don't have to be a financial genius to understand it. But for everybody, I don't care if you're one of my younger YouTube viewers, it's an important financial investing economic lesson to know. And for my older listeners or viewers, you got to know, because your 401ks, your IRAs, you think, well, I just sell for more later. Yeah. No, you got to understand this. So hopefully you all got that very important economic lesson. Toodles.